I'm hoping you will be able to hear me over this rain. It is still raining. I like to do these game series outdoors just because I like to do it this way. It's a little difficult to find a place for the last video. So this time I'm on the porch of my house. I have been at times well-to-do. I have made a six-figure income one of my working years of my life. And I have been poor at times and out of work for long times. Good jobs at times. I've worked manual labor for minimum wage at times. That all ties in with this lesson in the first chapter, in the second chapter now, of James.
An interest in the Savior's blood, died he for me, who caused his pain, for me who him to death pursued.
So I wanted to give a little bit of credentials. I'm on a government-mandated retirement program that I paid into for 40 years. No choice about it. Doesn't pay a lot. I can just barely live on it. God has provided me a house I can afford, which you see. Now, I'm going to read a longer passage out of James. We'll cover the first verse, sort of, maybe, kind of, in this lesson of first verse of chapter 2. But I wanted to read a bit of it to get the context of what it is he's talking about. Because he talks about favoritism, and without the context, we won't know what kind of favoritism he's talking about. My brothers, as believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, don't show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in shabby clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, "Here's a good seat for you," but say to the poor man, "You stand there," or "Sit on the floor by my feet," have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my dear brothers, has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised to those who love him? But you have insulted the poor. Now that we know what kind of discrimination he's talking about, my brothers, as believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, don't show favoritism. That cuts many ways. I have done a lot of work in India for the gospel. In India, favoritism is based upon caste and varna. Those are two different concepts, by the way. It is somewhat related to skin color. Here, in my lifetime, I have seen great changes as the issue of discrimination over skin color has receded into history to a large degree. Does it still exist? Yes. Someone just shocked me with a racist comment the other day. He should know better. But it was tempered. He was a person in authority with the statement that whatever his personal feelings were, those people had the legal right to do as they pleased, and he would defend that right. That's a lot different than a person in his position would have been when I was young. We've come a long way, but there is a subtle discrimination still going on. Oh, I'm not against it about skin color. It's just that they don't work. You have no clue. I have worked, I've never, as an assistant to benevolence deacon in different churches. I have seen firsthand what's going on in many cases. Not very long ago, the only way I could survive was to work stocking shelves for Dollar General at minimum wage. That was like 2 years ago at my age. I learned a lot from the customers and my co-workers. Now, I learned some good things. I learned that here in Louisiana, racial problems are not near as bad as they are some other places, for the simple reason that no one wants to be on bad terms with their in-laws. Think about that. However, while there are some legitimate things that we can say about culture and how it affects things, that's not the fault of the people who are brought up in that culture. And to blame them for societal problems, whether in the general society, whether imposed from the outside, or from the micro society that they were brought up in. James is banning all of that here, and we will go into it in greater depth. As believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, don't show favoritism.